All right, good morning. So this will be one in a series of videos for my architectural design class in 3B using Revit software to create the home plan that we have been talking about. This Craftsman Home style I shared with the last time we talked. I'm going to break this down into multiple little short videos instead of overwhelming you with a long video. I'll break this down in small parts. In this first part today, the first video I'll create is going to be focusing in on just creating the exterior walls and the interior walls. I will follow that video up after that with dimensioning those walls into place, and then we'll follow up with some subsequent videos for putting in windows and doors and continuing on from that direction. So going to our home page, I will have more assignments posted here soon. But basically in the Revit Craftsman Home plan, if you look underneath here, you're going to see basically right here, the floor plan is this one here. Now I've already opened it and rotated it so you can see here is the plan we're working with. We have a first floor plan, we have a second floor plan, and then we'll create a basement based upon these. In the end, add a roof and do the fine details and get this home plan so it hopefully looks like this when we're done. Okay, or at least getting close to it. All right, so we're going to go ahead and start with this plan. So today's the first thing I want to do is get Revit started, set it up, create the exterior walls for this house, including the garage, add in our interior walls, and then we'll call this first video good. Okay, so first thing I want to do is find Revit. Now, it could be on your desktop. Okay, it could be looking like this symbol right here. In my case, I pin it to my taskbar, so it makes it a little bit easier. So I'm going to go ahead and left-click my Revit. It takes a second to load. As you can see, it's a pretty decent sized file, so it will take a little bit of time to boot up. For those of you remote accessing in to use this, it will take us a little bit of time to get it up and running, but the computers are available for you to use. It probably would have been smart on my part to go ahead and start this up earlier. Okay, and as finally Revit has opened up, I apologize for the duration of time it took to get that to open. But when it comes in, basically you're going to start off with this home page. Right here, it's going to say recent files, you got models, you got families. We'll talk about what those are later on down the road. What we're going to do right now is we are going to go ahead and start with a new model, okay, in this case. So if I click on the new, we're going to get everything set up. Okay, the first thing we want to do is we want to set up the template we want to work from. Now, most of the tutorials you'll see on the internet, especially on YouTube, I've been referencing are mostly in metric, okay? However, in the United States, we always use the imperial system. So when we start this up, we're going to want to make sure that we're picking imperial, but we also want to make sure we're picking the right template. Okay, there's a lot of different templates in here. You have imperial construction, you have imperial architectural, structural, systems. Okay, then you also have all your metric stuff here. Okay, construction is like setting up the what do you call the property view? Okay, so you can see all of the property and its layout, where utilities will be going and things of that nature. Architectural is what the house plan is. Structural is if you're adding in all the beams and columns and all that stuff, which we'll have to do down the road. And then you have your systems, and the systems will be like your HVAC system, your heating, ventilation, air conditioning systems, including your electrical. Okay, we would like to start by going to Imperial Architectural Template. I'm going to left click. I want to create the new project. I'm going to go ahead and say OK. Now it's going to take a second to boot up, but what we're going to get is basically a screen that is going to be our interface where we draw. Okay, and again you can see it takes time. Obviously it's taking a second up here. I don't like to see that not responding, but it finally will open up. And when it does, what you're going to find here is most likely this, and I've already set mine up, so you're going to have yours a little bit different than mine, and that's okay. Okay, I'm going to put this over here. And actually, I think it had it where it was laying this above. I'm not sure exactly where it had it, but I'm actually going to go ahead and kind of move these things around. the first thing I want to do is just basically understand what we got going on here. So this is our actual interface where we'll be drawing our house plan, okay? And we're going to draw different levels in this spot, all right? And we'll define those levels in just a second here. These are what are called our views, or our not our orientations, elevations. That's what I'm looking for, the key word. So this would be looking from, for instance, this would be from the north, the south, the west, and the east elevations. Okay, so that'd be basically you're looking at your house from the east side, from the west side, from the south side, and from the north side. Okay, that will play out as we go into more 3D stuff. All right, but what I'm going to do first is I'm going to put this project browser kind of back in the spot, but I'm going to take this property toolbar and left click and drag it to my right. And this was just a suggestion I saw someone made in one of the other videos, and it just seemed to make more sense to do it this way. I'm not sure why I'm not getting it to connect in. It's supposed to be showing over here. There we go, to the side. Same over here. I'm going to left click and drag until I see the blue box, which I hope would come up, but it doesn't look like it wants to do it. And I'm not sure why, but I'm going to put this right over here. Okay, making sure this is full screen. It looks like it is. And I'm not quite sure why this is not giving it to me. I don't want it at the top, so I guess I'm just going to have to play it. I lost my spot, so I'm just going to kind of mess with it and leave it over here to the right. The reason I want to keep this is just it helps to have these two separated. It gives me more detail. Whenever we click on something in our Revit, you're going to see this property tab here will basically give you all the information about this design. Okay, so if you're clicking on a wall, it will tell you the size of the wall, what type of wall. You can do a bunch of different things to the properties over here by editing from this side. Okay, so it just makes it easier than trying to have it where in your screen it probably came up as a lower half over here, which isn't very big. Okay, you can also adjust these and close these down, giving you more drawing space. It's up to you how you use that. Okay. Now, a couple things I want to do. I want to set up the scale, basically. One of the things I want to do is I want to go into here where it says view scale. Right now, the default is an 1/8 inch is 1 foot. I want to stick with what we've been doing in our hand drawings. So I can come in here and click on this and go to 1/4 inch equals a foot. Okay, and you can actually, if I move this over a little bit more, I think I need to extend this out. Yeah, there we go. If I go into here, you can drop this down. I'm going to do 1/4 inch equals 1 foot. And that way we can kind of keep consistent in our style of what we've been drawing. Okay, it'll make sense from the scale we've been working with when we did the scale ruler drawings. So I'm going to kind of keep this as much as I can to be consistent. All right. Now, from here, I want to make sure we set up all of our floor levels. Okay. Right now, if you look over here left to your project browser, you have your floor plans. You have a level 1, a level 2. You have your site plan, which would basically be like the topography map of your site that you're building on. You have ceiling plans and elevations. Elevations are looking from the east side of the house, the north side of the house, the south, and the west. All right, floor plans, I would like to have a basement plan. I would like to have a main floor plan, a second floor plan, and basically that would be it. Okay, and we'll include the site plan there for later. So what I need to do is I actually need to go and check what levels these are at. Okay, to do that, I can pick on any one of these elevations. It does not matter because there's nothing in there right now. So I'm going to go to the east elevation and just simply, double click. And what it's going to do, it's going to go to the three-dimensional basic model view. Okay, and again, I'm not sure why this is in the way. I was really hoping this would get, I may just put it at the top for right now, just so I can kind of get this out of the way. But see, it's not cool. I don't like this either. I'm going to go ahead and close that. We'll get to the property thing again when I go up to view. Okay, I'm going to try to go up here to my properties and get that back up here in a little bit in a moment. Properties, pull that back up, except for this is not where I want it. So I guess I'm just going to drag it maybe over here. It just doesn't seem to want to give it to me, so I guess I'll put it over this way somewhere. For right now, I guess I'll just bring it over. I'm not sure why I'm having such a struggle with this, so I guess I'll put it right along here, like this, for right now. Okay, and then I'll pull it back over. The reason being is I need to go ahead and check these levels. Okay, now the first thing I want to do is I want to change the names of these levels. So for instance, this right here is going to be my basement level. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is where it says name level 1, I'm going to come in here, just simply highlight that level 1, and I'm going to type in basement. Okay, basement. And then all I have to do in this case is say, would you like to rename the corresponding views? Yes, I would like to. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and have my basement be 10 feet is fine. Most likely, depends on your house, it most likely could be 9 feet. You figure a little 1 foot upper level, I guess. So I'm actually going to change this distance from 10 feet to 9 feet. And to make a 9 foot, you have to use the tick mark. Okay, so you have to use a 9 and then the single quotation mark, the simple single. That means 9 feet 0 inches. Okay, so from the base of the ground to the bottom of the next floor, or basically to your, really what I would consider the ceiling, will be about right here, about a foot below. So it should give you an 8-foot basement, which is pretty standard unless you're in a really high-end home. Then you may get a 9 or 10 foot. But remember, the height you add on costs money. All right. Level 2, I'm going to highlight this. I'm going to change level 2. We're going to call that main floor. So I'm going to just type in there main floor. It's going to probably ask me again, would you like to change the name? I'm going to say yes. Okay. Now between my basement and my main floor, I'm going to go ahead, at this case here, I'm going to go ahead and make the main floor at 10 feet. That is fine. It's going to be a 9-foot distance. Actually, I'm going to go here and change this to 0 feet. Okay, and then main floor, hold on here. Oh, main floor distance here, I will make this distance here be 9 feet. Sorry, I'm going all over the place. Okay, now what I'd like to do is also create a second floor. All right, to create a second floor, I'm going to left click on this line. Under this Modify tab, I'm going to go to the word Copy. I'm going to left click on Copy. And I'm going to go ahead and click on this line, left click and hold, and I'm going to drag it up. Now, it's waiting for me to put a distance in there. Okay, so in this case here, I'm going to go ahead and put, for my second floor, I'm going to go ahead and do 9 feet again. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do a 9 foot. Actually, take that back. I'm going to do a 10 foot because I want to make, between the first and second floor, I would like a 9-foot ceiling. That's what I have in my house, and that's what these doors look like they are for this. Okay, so your second, your basement will be down here. It's going to be 9 feet. So with a slab for the floor, you'll have an actually 8-foot ceiling here. Go up here, you'll have another ceiling right about here. So you have a 9-foot floor here. So I'm going to call this level 2 will be second level. And this will make sense when we get going here. I'm going to call it second level or second floor. If you want to name it second floor, that's fine too. I'm going to copy one more too. I'm going to make basically a roof line. So I'm going to do a copy, click on this line, and I'm going to bring this line straight up at, in this case, I'm going to go 9 feet again. Okay, so now the ceiling on the second floor will be 8 feet tall because you're going to have a ceiling, so you're going to have some trusses here, some beams here, and a ceiling will be about 1 foot below. Then my roof will be above here. Okay, so basement level, main floor level with my taller walls, secondary floor or upstairs, and then my roof line will be up here. Okay, so total elevation of the house to the roof is 28 feet from the bottom of the basement up to the top. Okay, from the outside of the house, you're looking at probably 18 feet to the level of your roof line. Okay, so now I have all these. All right, so now what I want to do is I need to go back into, and I need to go to view and bring these back up, user interface. I need my project manager. I'm not sure, browser. Yeah. So as I finish this up here, I got these different levels: basement, main floor, second level. The only other one I want to add here is at level 4. I'm going to highlight this and change it from level 4 to roof. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and make sure. Now you're going to notice over here with all these, if you look over here to your left, now the floor plans will have a basement, you have your main floor. The second level is not up there yet, but we'll get there. So we're under our building elevations. Okay, so we're good. I'm going to go ahead over here the second, okay, over this floor plans, and I'm going to go to, in this case, oh, here's our ceiling plans. Oops, main floor. I may have messed that up. But anyways, we're going to go to and double-click main floor. Okay. Now, what that does, it gets us back into this position. And you'll notice here you got basement. That's the first one, the main floor. So you'll see tabs begin to open up here. Okay, if you don't like to see them all, I'm going to go ahead and just close out the tabs I don't want and just leave main floor. All right. Now, from here, one of the things I want to do is I'm going to start drawing my walls. Now, I'm going to base my walls off of this view right here. Okay, so I'm just going to start creating some walls, tracing this outline to the best of my ability. Okay, and then we're going to add some interior walls. Some of the walls will be a little bit thicker. This is a 2x6 right here. The rest of the walls on the interior are 2x4. Okay, the reason this is a 2x6 is this is a structural wall, so it has to be a little bit thicker. All right, now the reason it doesn't look like a full wall here is because basically there's a pillar, there's a little bit of a abutment right there, abutment right there. These are open, basically open walkways or open walls. I guess you can say there's like an arch there or something of that nature, or just it's a very open plan. Okay, we'll try to create that when we do the doors. We'll actually put the holes in there. I'm probably going to do an archway in mine just to see what it looks like. We'll play with that as we go along. Okay, but what I want to do is start drawing this. Now we have to pick a wall first. I'm going to go back into Revit, and what I want to do is go up to my architecture tab right up here to the top left. Now this is where basically you draw and design the entire house. Okay, we got walls, doors, windows, you got components and things you can add in, you got roofs, you got ceilings, you got floor systems, curtain walls, all kinds of stuff, adding your stairs and railings and things of that nature. So everything we're going to need as we design this home will most likely be on this architectural tab. Okay, so I'm going to start by clicking on the wall. And when I do that, a couple different things. Okay, first and foremost, I got to tell the height of the wall. Right now, it's unconstrained. So basically what I want to do is I want this first floor to go to the second level. Okay, so it's going to be basically up to the second level. So that should make it, unconnected height will be 10 feet. So it should be a 10-foot wall. Okay, wall center line, offsets, all that we'll leave alone. We'll keep the chain on. What chain means is basically as I draw the walls, they will connect to each other every time I click. Okay, and that's important as we go through this first part of the design, that we have the chain checked on. Now the walls, okay, over here in our properties, we can choose what wall we like to work with. So if I drop this arrow down, you can see there's a bunch of exterior walls, there's some generic walls, and there are interior walls, okay. There are also what we call curtain walls. A curtain wall is basically, you walk around Grandview, you see these big banks of windows, that is a curtain wall. Okay, in some of these higher-end homes, these real new wave, whatever you want to call it, contemporary homes that you see out in the market now, some of them have a full wall of windows, basically from ceiling to floor. That is a curtain wall. Okay, in our case, we're going to make this very simple. We're going to do a brick, what do they call it? Brick on metal stud. So we're going to do exterior brick on metal stud. Okay, now eventually we may modify these. We're going to learn how to customize walls later on in our presentations. We'll come back. We're going to try to customize to make the walls look like the ones in the actual PDF file. Okay, so some of this may end up changing, but right now we just want to start with an exterior wall, get it drawn, work on an interior wall, and then we'll modify things as we move along. Okay, so I'm going to start with a left click on this wall. All right, now all I'm going to do is start drawing. It doesn't matter where you start, but you just have to start drawing the wall. Now you have different ways you can draw a wall. You can draw a line, you can do rectangles, you got polygons, you can draw arcs. A lot of this should look familiar for my people who have had SolidWorks. These are all the same kind of drafting tools or drawing tools we've used in the past. In our case, in most cases, the home design we're going to do, we're going to need to use our line tool. Okay, just real simple. And so what I'm going to do is just kind of start somewhere out in here. I want to try to keep all my house between these four boxes. So I'm going to kind of stay out here to the left. And I'm going to start maybe a little bit down here in this corner, just a little bit below this view over here. And I'm going to left click and pull up. Now I'm going to go ahead and try to keep these walls relatively within reason. Looking, and I've already looked at the plan, so I've kind of messed with it, so I already kind of know some of the details of this, but I'm going to try to keep everything within reason. So I'm going to kind of keep this wall right around 35 feet maybe, and you can see that right to the right. You could also type in your distances. I could go 35, tick mark, and it will automatically go to that distance. Okay, so you can actually, if you know your exact amount of walls, then you can just type it in. In our case, the hard part is we're working from a floor plan. This is what you would see in a sales brochure. Okay, we are not working from actual architectural plans. That is what we're actually going to create. So some of this is going to be through guesstimation. All right, I'm not going to lie. Some of this is just going to be based upon some common sense. Some of it's going to be just by guessing and crossing my fingers it works. So far from what I've dimensioned, it seems to be working pretty reasonably. I'm going to go this way about, let's say, 16, 17 feet. Go up a little bit. I know this looks small. I'll blow into it in just a second. Go this way, kind of coming back across the house. I'm going to make this about 15 feet, maybe 16 feet. That's fine. Coming on back down. These are going to be on the same level. Kicking out this way a little bit, maybe about 15 feet. I know this looks very small. I will probably end up moving this a little bit to more centered up in the view, but let's just go ahead and get this going. I'm going to come down a little bit, bump out. Let's see, bump down just a little bit, bump out. This is now I'm working towards the garage. Here's the outside wall of the garage, so I'm going to make this about 20, let's say 28 feet, somewhere in there. 26 is fine. Here's my single garage, so it's going to be about 14 to 15 feet wide. Come down a couple feet. I know this seems like a lot. It's hard to see. That's so small. I will blow up on this in a moment. Here's my double garage. It's going to be about 21 to 22 feet wide. Coming up here, and basically, as soon as I see that tick mark right there, I'm going to, or the dashed line, it tells me it's lined up. I'm going to left click and finish by left clicking again. Okay, so now to deactivate my tool, I'm going to hit escape to turn off the tool. Okay, oops, escape. Sorry. I hit F1 by accident. Okay, so looking at this is obviously not in the greatest position. So I'm going to go ahead and move. Okay, I'm going to kind of drag this. And I'm just going to kind of, whoops, let me see. Maybe it won't let me do the whole thing. I was hoping to let me just do the whole thing. No, it won't. Hold on. Move. And if you hover on this, move select elements to specify location in the current view. So if I go to here and move it over to here, no, that ain't going to do it. Let me see if I can highlight this real quick and move. Oh, there we go. Now I just got to grab this and I'm going to slide over like this way maybe. And then I think I'll do it one more time. I'll do the move again. And I think I'm just going to slide this up. Okay, so I'm just going to, and you can tell exact distances if you want. I just want to kind of get this centered in the property. Okay, and what I consider the property are between these four boxes. All right. And part of the reason, again, is I think I messed up when I did my floor plan. I didn't change the scale here. So if I change the scale from 1/8 to 1/4 equals 1 foot, it doesn't really do much. It just makes it a little bit, I guess, smaller. I'm just going to go with that. That's fine. You can roll in and roll out to see this. Okay. Now, right now, if you look at this, you're like, wow, just a bunch of black and white lines. We would like to look at and create some detail here so you can tell it's a brick wall. To do that, I'm going to come down here to the lower left, where there's this little box right here to the left. It says detail level is shown as coarse. If you left click on that, I want you to change this to fine. And now what you're going to notice, if I blow up on one of the walls, okay, what you've got here is this is the brick on the outside right here. This is a foam insulation. Okay, that's what they always put in there. This would be a vapor barrier, so you don't let water in. Okay, then this would be your metal studs, and then on the inside here would be your sheetrock or drywall, whatever you want to call it. Gypsum board is what it's also called. Okay, so you can kind of see the detail of that. I like to see the details, so that way I know what I'm working with. It makes it a lot easier. Okay, now again, all I'm going to do here is come back into this. And I'm just going to kind of give you a view of what the house looks like. Now, again, this is not accurate. This is just a rough outline of the house. Okay. What I want to do now is I'm going to add the interior walls. Okay. And this will be the last thing I do. And then at that point, we'll call this the end of the video. And then we'll go into actual dimensioning this later on here. Okay. So, interior walls. Same thing. I go back to my architecture tab. Go to my walls. Now, over here in my properties, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and instead of brick basic wall, we're going to drop this down to interior And I want to do the first ones as a 4 7/8 inch partition wall. Okay, interiors are partition walls. They partition the house in different rooms and things of that nature, okay? So I'm going to go to here, turn that on. Nothing fancy. It's just a basic wall. There's not a lot to it. But what we're going to do is now kind of focus in and start adding in some walls. Now, I'm going to kind of work my way through the house. It will not be perfectly accurate, but luckily I've drawn it a little bit, so I kind of know where I'm supposed to be. But all you have to do is just come up here and you start clicking, and wherever you click, it's going to automatically blend in the wall. Okay, that's where it's really important. Again, I want chain on so I can draw this all at once. But really what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and say, okay, this right here is about 2 feet. That's great. Left click, I'm going to pull down just a little bit. Pull in this way. So it's going to be about the same distance right there. I'm going to pull down. So this is kind of pulling into the great room area here. And then I'm going to basically draw an angled wall. Like so. And then over here, I'm just going to kind of draw in a little closet space, a little bump up. This right here, kind of down at an angle. And again, if you're looking at the plan, you will understand what I'm doing here. Let me blow up on it real big so you can kind of see this. And this is where you got to kind of play around. Backing up, pull this down. You can see I'm a little bit off already. And then from here, I'm going to draw a wall, let's say just barely in, and then straight down to this wall here, okay? I'm going to hit escape to turn my wall off. Escape, it deactivates basically the entire wall thing, okay? If I go back in, I can turn it back on, turn your line tool back on, and continue from here, okay? Now, I'm just trying to think of where I want to be. So I'm actually going to attach the wall here. Yeah, so this is going to be kind of along here, like so. What I'll do at this point, I'm going to hit escape here. I'm going to go ahead and do a wall again. And this is the hard part. So I'm actually going to have to draw across quite a bit of ways in here. Like I said, I'm doing a lot of guessing here. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to go out to about here and then kind of in. Highlighted walls overlap. One of them may be ignored when Revit finds rooms and boundaries. Okay, that's fine. I'll have to actually move some walls. I actually may delete and then blend in. It's okay. This is the thing I like, at least with Revit, at least gives you an indication when there's slight errors and things of that nature. Oops, I'm going to go to here and attach into that. I hit escape. Again, I'll end up having to move that. I'll show you how to align these walls. As you can tell, this is going to be a really rough piece. So I'm going to do on this wall here is I'm actually going to left click and drag, shorten it up, maybe. There we go, blend it in. So you just grab the end point and you drag it. Okay. I'm going to go in here and this is going to be a continuation of my walls. I'll go right here, and it probably is going to give me a little error there. Again, I'm going to kind of blend in, bring this over to this wall. That's close. Hit escape. This area is where your stairs are essentially going to be. I'm going to have to adjust this wall in a little bit, or this one down. There's going to be a small little powder room, like really right off of this right here. So I'm going to go here, kind of in and over. That's going to end up being a powder room. I'll hit escape there. Then this is your office area. This right here, off this corner, we're going to go right about there. That's going to be a pantry. This is going to be kind of your mud area when you walk in the garage. And then last but not least, I'm going to go ahead and switch up my wall now from a 2x4 to a 6 1/8. Okay, that's going to be a bigger, thicker wall because this is going to be a major structural support. And so I'm going to actually put that right in here off of this wall. I'm just going to go up and draw in and then over. Okay, and then hit escape there. All right. Now, that pretty much takes care of the interior walls at this point. So this is kind of what I'm looking at the house in this state. Okay, so I'm going to hit escape again to turn off my walls. And at that point, this gives you a real rough layout of the main floor. Now, there's a couple others I'll add in here. If you look at this little area right here, I'll go ahead and add these in right now. These are going to, again, be the 4 7/8. I'll go ahead and add, like there's one right from here to here. Oops, nope, Control Z that. Okay, Control Z does work. It's the same as anything else we've ever done with Control Z. Okay, I'm going to blend there. There's another one that's kind of somewhere in here, like that. I think there was one more, and we'll have to really make some major adjustments. Really what happens here is this area ends up being a closet. This becomes the ductwork from all of your heating and ventilation in the basement that comes up through this hole here up to your upstairs, into your secondary floor, so you have vents above. So that'll be a pocket for all of the vent stuff. This is just dead space, and then so is that. Okay, we'll adjust that in the next video when we start adding on our dimensions. Okay, but at this point, what I want you to do is, again, looking at the model, it's very rough. Okay, we're going to get it fixed. I'm going to show you some cool things with, for instance, actually before we go, I want to talk about a couple of these, like for instance, this right here, aligning this wall with this wall, and you can do that under the Modify tab. If you click on this Modify or this Align tool, what it wants to know is what edges do you want to align. So what I want to do here is I want to align this edge here with that edge there. Okay, and when you do that, yeah, it went blank for a second, you have to roll in and roll out, but what it did is it automatically aligned these. So you can simply hit escape again. Okay, you can align walls as you need. So for instance, this wall here, I want this to be smooth. So I hit my Align tool, I hit this edge of my wall, and I want to align to this edge of the wall. Maybe it won't. Okay, there. Okay, it did align it. All right. So if you need to go through and align stuff, all you do is you use your Modify tool and go to Align and pick the edges you want lined up. So as you go along, so for instance, I may want to go up here and say, you know what, I really need this edge of the wall lined up with that edge of the wall. So I go to Align this edge of the wall to that edge of the wall. Okay, now one or the others will shift, and I'm not sure which way it does shift. I don't know if it's on the order you pick. I'll have to play with that a little bit, but it at least gets those walls lined up. And then what we'll do in the next video is we will go through and start working on using our dimension tools to move the walls into the correct positions. Okay, so at this point, there is my rough outline of my house. Okay, if you want to see what it looks like from the elevations, if you double click east, okay, and you roll in, there is basically outside of the house. Here's your north, here's your south, and right now you're not going to see a whole heck of a lot, you guys. We don't have any windows in, we don't have any doors, but what it does show you is there is your wall. Okay, that is a 10-foot wall. Okay, so there's our main floor. We'll have a basement below that down the road. We'll have a second floor on top of this with our roof on top. Okay, going back into my floor plans, there's my main floor, and again, you can see each of the tabs opens up. So you can just, if you want to keep them open, you can thumb through and see your house as you're moving along. All right. At this point, what I want you to do is go ahead and do a file save. Okay, so I'm going to go here and do a save. Now, my suggestion is you save into a folder, because what's going to happen is every time you hit save in Revit, it will automatically create a backup. So, like for instance, I've already saved 9 times because I've done 9 different iterations or adjustments to this, and every time I save, it saves another iteration. The cool thing is with this is that, let's say, for instance, you make a mistake and suddenly your first file gets corrupted. The nice thing is you can open the backup file. So in this case, if I opened up, it'll be like .rvt009. What that tells me, if I click that one open, that is the last iteration I saved. It will open from there, and you can continue by resaving it again as a new home plan, whatever. But you have your backups you can work from. What I found is, because I saved them to my desktop, is I needed to make sure I saved a desktop. I created a folder specifically for the home plan. Okay, I got a bunch on here. I forget where I put it. So what I'm going to do over here is I want to create a new, in this case, I want to go new folder. I'm going to call it Revit Home, Revit House Plan, House Design, whatever you want to call it. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and double click inside that. And I'm going to call this Craftsman Home. Home Design. Okay, I'm going to hit save. It takes a moment. Okay, I'm going to go show you where the file is located. So let me minimize my screen. Come back to this. And then here is my, I got to find it, Revit, yes, Revit House Design. Go inside there. There is your .rvt. Now here's what I've been working on, just so you can see this. So I have my first iteration, 3rd, 7th, 8th, 9th, and some of them I think got overridden, or I may have accidentally deleted them. But as you can see, every time you save, it creates another edition of it. But you can open any one of these, and you can start working from that last saved iteration if something goes haywire. Okay, as we develop our home plan, this is going to get pretty full. So what we'll do is we'll be eventually deleting ones off. Each day we'll say, okay, keep the last 2 iterations plus your regular home plan. That way you don't have a folder that gets completely filled, because if you save every few minutes, you're going to have a whole bunch of these in that folder. Okay. So with that said, coming back into here, I'm going to go ahead and call this good for today. Get this outline done, and then the next video that I'll produce for you, we'll talk about how to add in our dimensions to get the walls in the correct spots. With that, use the video to your advantage. Don't be afraid to use YouTube also if you want to use. There's some good tutorials out there in case something I said was not clear. But with that said, good luck, and look forward to talking to you in the next video.